So the team at Home Assistant have been hard at work at the next batch of features for Home Assistant. So in this video, I thought we'd take a look at some of these new features we can expect to see in the 2025.3 update, as well as some important breaking changes. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video on Bite of Geek. So yes, 2025.3, yeah, we're already in March and Home Assistant is about to get its next update. So what functionality can you expect to see in this new release? Well, I'm pleased to say there's some exciting new things due in this release for us. Bear in mind, what I'm just going to show you is what is classed on the beta channel, but you know, we're days away from it being released, so I can't see much being pulled from this at this point in time. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the things we can expect to see. So we all know in previous updates of Home Assistant there've been some work on the title component for the dashboards, and the team have gone a little bit further on those now and enhanced what you can actually do with that, which for me, given I've started using some of the newer functionality that they'd already gone and added previously, is a welcome addition. Now, as you can see here, you can have your own custom markdown, as well as kind of like putting in you know, specific entities on there so you can see information about that, so you don't have to get them kind of like crammed into the very small title bar. Yeah, I think that's a massive improvement. You know, if we want to just see how that would work in Home Assistant, so you know, I've got my test page set up here on my beta version of Home Assistant, and you know, if I add a title, you know, I can have text only, so it just appears as just kind of like a block of text on the page, or I can have it as a card as well. So you know, really nice improvement. As I say, you know, you can obviously add other things to this as well, but you know, given you know the previous kind of you know, titles that, you know, they were more just for kind of like sections, as it were, but I think, you know, some people were probably using those as titles on the page themselves, so having this new option is a welcome addition. And as I say, a lot of people will be keen to see the addition of badges there as well, you know, since kind of like the redesign of dashboards has taken place. You know, these kind of badges at the top of the screen, everybody's been putting those on their dashboard now, so to have these you know, in a formatted state is you know, going to make some really nice dashboards, I think. The next enhancement that 2025.3 has got for us is a bit of a change to the tile cards, and again, you know, something probably everyone will appreciate, and you know, it's kind of like to help you differentiate between what is information and what is actually something that is controllable. So you know, if you've got temperature sensors, humidity, something like that, you know, more often than not, you know, they're not clickable buttons, you know, tiles, something like that. So you know, you don't really want them represented that way. So you know, what the team are going to do is, you know, where you know, it is just kind of like for informational purposes, it is just the icon that is displayed on the tile, and where it is a controllable device or entity, then you actually get the circle around it as well. So I think that's a nice little change overall to the kind of like the styling of the tiles on dashboards. And just to give you a kind of an example of what that's going to look like, if I just add in my kind of like my car, so obviously there's a couple of options here. So we've got climate control, which is obviously a switch, so we'll add that, and then kind of like a charging status, and then we just OK on that. So you can see, you know, on the tiles now, you've got the circle around it, and because that's a controllable item, and where it's just going to be a status, it's just the icon. So I think that makes you know, it pretty much a lot clearer for people to understand what is what on their dashboards. So next up, and this is obviously to do with information you can display on your tiles. So obviously, you know, the team introduced the way that you could design your layouts on dashboards, and you could have kind of like super wide tiles if you wanted to do that. And it would affect everybody in different ways depending upon what your layout is. But clearly, when you do that, you end up with a lot of white space, and it doesn't look that great. To be honest, I've got a couple of tiles on my dashboards which I just kind of like wish I could do something with that space. Well, now you can do that. In my demo system, I don't have something that's got these kind of controls on it, but as you can see on the screen here, you can kind of like put your vacuum controls in there, or if you've got AC, you can put those controls in there as well, and really kind of like fill out that space rather than just having an ugly load of white space there within the tile. Okay, so next update is a switch toggle, and as it just says there in the text, surprising we didn't have that before. Absolutely, the a toggle switch, we see it when we get a pop-up for an entity, but we can't seem to get that on any tile. Well, your prayers have been answered, and now you will be able to do that with this update. So it makes it very, very simple and clear, from a control point of view, what is on or off, with one of your devices. Next up, we've got a counter. So kind of, the ability to go and put counters on the screen. I'm a little bit on the fence on this one. I can't see a use case for me at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. What would you use something like this for? Basically you can have, you can see there on the graphic, you can have an increment and a decrement, and you can have a reset for the counter as well. I'm sure at some point in time I will use it, but nothing springs to mind at the moment. But obviously a welcome addition to the functionality with Home Assistant overall, I would imagine. So next on the list is a bit of a styling update. So last few weeks I've seen some really impressive stuff with people with CSS styling changes around icons and stuff like that, and the Home Assistant team obviously thought they'd chip in a little bit and add their flavor to this update as well. So all designed to kind of help you understand what you're interacting with on your tiles. So icons kind of grow a little bit when you're hovering over them and interacting with those buttons and things like that. So again, I would imagine as time goes on, that might develop a little bit more into some of the stuff that we're seeing from those who are contributing to projects themselves, little kind of like jiggling icons. Everybody seems to like those. So, maybe Home Assistant team, we might get something like that, please. Okay, so next up we've got some changes to the editor. Really, not going to go into any massive detail on this. These are nice to haves in the editor. It makes it a bit more obvious for those that are, I guess, new to Home Assistant, kind of how things will actually look, when you've got those settings changed. So anything that can help new users to this smart home system is always going to be welcome, just to make it an easy start for everyone. So next up on the list is for those of you who use a LLM. I don't have anything like that set up at the moment. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see something like that on the channel. But for those of you that do use it, there is an update to this. So, I see this in other kind of bots and stuff like that. If you type in really complex questions and there's a big wordy response, then sometimes they can be a little bit laggy. And the same is applying here with Home Assistant, certainly if you've not got kind of like top-notch super fast hardware. So they've changed this. It's going to stream those responses for you, so that should be a little bit more responsive overall. So next up, new integrations, and for me the standout one here is the Azure storage for backups. I think this is long overdue and very welcome to see it added into Home Assistant. There are a number of other items there as well. Some of them are very regional, so if that's something that you're using in your country, that may well be very welcome by you as well. So also worth noting on the virtual integrations, it looks like Starkiller OG has basically been going full tilt on getting some integrations working with Motion Blind. So there's 4 sets there. So if you're using one of those, then I'm sure that'll be very welcome by yourself. On existing integrations, there are some standout ones here for me, but again, there's a lot there. So there's some nice new functionality there for ESP Home. That you can kind of like get shadow logs of the logs as well. Obviously Shelly as well, so there's some new functionality there. And also for those of you that have supported the channel and bought the SwitchBot remote through my affiliate links, that has been added as well. Some more functionality for that as well in this release, so all really good. There's a lot of other things there, and I think it's one which really doesn't get talked about a lot, I think, because of Samsung's decision of the direction that they've gone with this, but SmartThings as well, they've changed the way they authenticate not so long ago. So there's been basically a ground up rewrite of that, so looking forward to getting that set up with some of my Samsung devices, because I must admit what Samsung have gone and done just made it a bit of a pain, really. Now, other noteworthy changes, certainly one of these I think needed to be moved up a little bit higher than this. This bit here, the hard refresh of your browser, well, no need to do that. This is, as they say, a thing of the past. Home Assistant will make sure your cache on your browser is up to date every time you try and access it. So fantastic news there for everyone, I think. No need to be doing the old Control F5 or clearing your cache to make pages display properly. Other changes on the front end, just to mention the graph that you can see on your entities, things like that. The team made changes on previous updates. Obviously an awful lot of feedback had come in about how that was working out for everyone, so they've looked at that and reimagined that a little bit better. Hopefully that makes it easier and clearer for everybody to use now in Home Assistant. Now, not an issue that I've come across personally, but there is an update to the maps on this as well. So if you're somebody who's taken advantage of kind of like all the clustering and things like that within the maps, then obviously this will be a welcome addition. There are changes there. Check that out in the new update, and let me know down below in the comments. Is this something that is going to make your Home Assistant better? I'd love to know how many people would actually be affected by this. It seems one, it's kind of what I've got is working for me. But I appreciate, everybody's got something slightly different. So, what are your use cases for this? Why would this be making it better for you? So in terms of breaking changes then, well, there's not many that are listed at this moment in time, but I think there are certainly a few there that stand out for me. So proximity, if you're relying upon kind of like the accuracy of this, then this has changed a little bit. If you need to use that in any calculations, that is something you're going to need to look into. The other one as well is SmartThings. So if you had energy and power sensors, there are changes with that as well. And also the Synology DSM. Now, I no longer have my Synology NAS, I have something else. But there is, the scan interval option has been removed on that, and the default of 15 minutes is now what's used. So, I'll put a link down below in the description to the current list of breaking changes on this release, if you want to go and read some more of that, as well as the kind of the list of the other changes in the release as well. But that is what we are expecting for 2025.3. Some really nice UI improvements there. I think, is this the year that Home Assistant are really taking the user interface for everyone forward, and just polishing a lot of the areas that everybody's been desperately asking for over these last few years. It certainly seems that way to me, really starting to come together as a very usable user interface that everybody at all different levels can quite easily get to grips with as they get into Home Assistant. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. You know, what do you think about this release? You know, if you've got something there that you can see you're going to use, drop it down below in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You know, it really does help with engagement in YouTube and, you know, its algorithm, all that kind of rubbish, but it really honestly does help. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.